Hello, first grade. I know you're not scheduled for library today because it's a half day, an early release day, but I wanted to record and finish the All I Ever Want Christmas doll story. We were awake at dawn. "It's Christmas," Eddie Bernice shouted. I leapt off the bed, bubbling over with excitement. "It's Christmas!" Mommy and Daddy stirred from behind their sleeping curtain. "What little mice girls are disturbing folks for day in the morning," Daddy grumbled, acting angry. "Merry Christmas, chickadees," Mama said, giving us each a sack filled with English walnuts, a peppermint stick candy, an orange, and a box of raisins. It was the most Christmas we'd ever had. Daddy held one last package behind his back. "Merry Christmas, daughters," he said as he presented it to us. There before us was a for-real, store-bought, brand-new Baby Betty doll, the color of chocolate, with rosy cheeks, black curly locks, and thick eyelashes. She was a million times prettier than I could have imagined. "Ooh," cooed Eddie Bernice. Denise giggled. Giggled. "And she's mine," I declared. Dessa grabbed Baby Betty's legs. Eddie Bernice elbowed in and snatched the doll's arm. "No, I'm the oldest," she cried. "Mine," Dessa wailed. "Me," I shouted. "No!" We tugged and yanked and shoved and pulled until Daddy separated us. "Eddie Bernice Pearson, Laura Nell Pearson, Odessa May Pearson," he said. When Daddy called us by our whole names, in birth order, we knew we were in trouble. So we shut up and stood shoulder to shoulder. Gathering us within the circle of his arms, he scolded. "3 times shame on you for fighting over a Christmas gift." He looked at us with disappointing eyes. "I have chores to do. Work this out, and no more squabbling." When the door closed, Mama turned to us and raised her eyebrows. "Okay, chickadees, fix it," she said. Then she walked away, holding on to my doll. I spoke right up. "Who wanted Baby Betty the most?" "You did," Dessa and Eddie Bernice answered grudgingly. "And who said it was silly to dream about something I could never have in a million zillion years?" "We did." "And who never gave up and wrote a letter to Santa?" "You did." "So who do you think Baby Betty should belong to?" Eddie Bernice shrugged. "You, I guess." Little Dessa nodded. When Mama heard we were all in agreement, she handed me Baby Betty, and the doll's eyelashes fluttered. "You are all I want. I don't need anything else," I cried. "We'll see," said Mama. After I ate and dressed, I had the whole day to play with my new doll. First, I sang a song to her. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." Eddie Bernice and Dessa watched for a minute, but when I didn't include them, they left. Through the window, I could hear them taking turns jumping rope with a measure of Mama's clothesline. Having you is more fun than any old jump rope, I whispered to baby Betty. She blinked and I hugged her tight. I sang every Christmas carol I knew, from Joy to the World to Jingle Bells. Baby Betty was a good listener, but my sisters have always sung harmony with me, and baby Betty couldn't sing a note. Oh well, I said, rocking her gently. Let's tell stories instead. I began with Goldilocks and followed with Little Red Riding Hood. When I finished, there was only silence. My sisters always clapped, but baby Betty couldn't move her hands. Maybe you'd like Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby, I tried, and set in. At last I got to my favorite part. In my best storytelling voice, I said, Brer Rabbit said, Tar Baby, you'd better speak like you got some sense, or I'll bop you up alongside the head. But that Tar Baby didn't say nothing. It sat there in the road, looking dumb. That part always made Dessa giggle, but not baby Betty. Excuse me, I eased to the windows to sneak one peek at my sisters. They were making string sculptures. I wish you could do something more than just sit like a spot on a tote, I whispered, a little disgusted, like baby Betty blinked. Having fun, Mama asked, pouring herself a cup of tea. I guess so, I replied. Then suddenly I got an idea. A party, I shouted. Baby Betty and I will have a tea party, same as Miss Florence, the lady you work for. Quickly, I spread a quilt over Mama's trunk, then placed an imaginary cup and saucer in front of my doll. After serving, I took a sip with my pinky finger raised. This is very, very delicious tea, isn't it, Miss Baby? I asked properly. No answer. I tried again. I say, isn't this delicious tea? Baby Betty sat there. Could have been the Tar Baby herself. You better answer me, girl, I shouted. Nothing. Baby Betty was never going to utter a word. Okay, I said, throwing my hands up in the air. If you don't want to play with me, then I don't want to play with you either. So there. And I stormed away. Through the window, I could hear Dessa and Eddie Bernice chattering, twittering, and sharing. I felt like a lone chickadee. As I stood listening to my sister's hand-clap songs, Mama came over and put her arm around me. I think they miss you, I said. Doesn't seem like. Why don't you ask them to your party? I don't think baby Betty will mind. You don't? Mama just smiled. I didn't have to think about it long. I grabbed the doll and rushed outside. What do you want? We're busy, said Eddie Bernice. I kicked at the ground. Baby Betty wants you to come to our tea party, I said. She does? Dessa asked. I said. My sisters looked at each other. Who would get to pour the pretend tea first? Eddie Bernice asked. You would, I answered reluctantly. And who would get to sit at the head of the table? Dessa put in, her arms folded across her chest. You would. I hugged baby Betty. You know, she can't do much, I explained, but she sure is pretty. Baby Betty's eyelashes fluttered and we all giggled. Then I handed baby Betty over. All the rest of Christmas Day, my sisters and I played with our doll. We sang Christmas carols in harmony. We shared stories about once upon a time. Dessa knew just when to laugh, and Eddie Bernice knew when to clap. We munched on peppermint candy and orange wedges and ate one raisin at a time so they would last. But my favorite part was when I poured a pretend cup of tea and with my baby finger crooked ever so daintily, I said, real prim and proper like, "Isn't this the best Christmas ever?" The end. I hope you liked that story about sharing at Christmas time. You guys do not have library scheduled again until we get back from winter break. So you will be my first grade class next year. Have a great winter break.